I was alone at home the night everything changed. Not the peaceful kind of alone that feels like a reward after a long day, but the quiet, heavy kind that makes every sound seem louder than it should be. My name is Emily Carter, and until that evening, I believed I understood solitude. I thought I knew what it meant to be independent, to feel safe within the familiar walls of my own home. I was wrong. The house felt unusually still that evening. Outside, the sky had turned a deep gray, and the wind pushed softly against the windows, as if whispering secrets I couldn't quite hear. I had finished dinner earlier than usual and decided to spend the rest of the night curled up on the couch with a book I'd been meaning to read for weeks. The television stayed off. I wanted silence, or at least I thought I did. Living alone had become normal for me over the past year. After my divorce, I moved into this modest suburban house on the edge of town. It wasn't fancy, but it was mine. The quiet helped me think, helped me heal. Or so I believed. That night, however, the silence felt different. It pressed against me, making my thoughts louder and my heart more alert. Around 9 o'clock, I heard a sound that made me freeze. It was faint, almost unnoticeable, but unmistakable. A knock. At first, I assumed I was imagining it. No one ever came by unannounced, especially not at that hour. I waited, holding my breath, listening closely. Then came the knock again, firmer this time, deliberate. My heart began to race. I stood slowly, every muscle tense, and glanced at the clock. 9:12. I wasn't expecting anyone. My parents lived 2 states away. My closest friend, Sarah Miller, always texted before visiting. I walked toward the front door, each step careful, the hardwood floor creaking beneath my feet. "Who is it?" I called out, trying to keep my voice steady. There was a pause, long enough to make my stomach twist. Then a voice answered, calm but unfamiliar. "Emily, it's me. My name is Daniel Brooks. I know this is strange, but I really need to talk to you." Hearing my name from a stranger sent a chill down my spine. I leaned closer to the door, peering through the peephole. A tall man stood on my porch, his hands visible, his posture relaxed but serious. He didn't look threatening, but appearances can be deceiving. "How do you know my name?" I asked, my voice barely above a whisper. He hesitated before answering. "I knew your brother." My breath caught. "My brother," I repeated. "Yes," he said gently. "Michael Carter. We served together years ago. I've been trying to find you for a long time." Michael. The name alone opened wounds I had worked so hard to close. My brother had passed away 5 years earlier in what was described as a tragic accident. The grief never truly left me, but I had learned to live around it. I unlocked the door but kept the chain on. "What do you want?" I asked. Daniel met my eyes through the narrow opening. "I have something that belongs to you. And something you deserve to know." Against my better judgment, I removed the chain and opened the door. The night air rushed in, carrying the scent of rain and distant asphalt. Daniel stepped inside slowly, respecting the space between us. He was older than I first thought, maybe late 30s, with tired eyes that suggested he'd seen more than he liked to remember. He held a small envelope in his hand, worn at the edges. "This is from Michael," he said quietly, extending it toward me. "He asked me to give it to you if anything ever happened to him." My hands trembled as I took the envelope. My brother's handwriting stared back at me, unmistakable. Tears blurred my vision. "I didn't even know this existed," I whispered. He didn't want you to, Daniel replied. Not until the time was right. We sat at opposite ends of the living room, the envelope resting unopened on the coffee table between us like a fragile bridge between past and present. Daniel told me about the years he and Michael spent working together, about the kind of man my brother was when no family was around to see it. Brave, yes, but also thoughtful, deeply protective, and always worried about me. He talked about you all the time, Daniel said. He wanted you to live freely, without fear or regret. I finally opened the envelope. Inside was a letter and a small key. The letter explained things I never knew. Michael's death hadn't been an accident. He had uncovered something dangerous and paid the price for it. The key belonged to a storage unit containing documents he'd gathered, evidence he never had the chance to share. I felt a mix of shock, anger, and sorrow swirl inside me. My quiet life suddenly felt like an illusion. Daniel stood up slowly. I didn't come here to scare you, he said. I came because you deserve the truth. And because you're not as alone as you think. That night, after Daniel left, I sat alone again, but the silence no longer felt empty. It felt full of meaning. The unexpected visitor had brought more than answers. He brought purpose. Over the following weeks, my life began to change. I visited the storage unit, read every document, and learned who my brother truly was and why he made the choices he did. Daniel stayed in touch, not as a protector, but as a guide. Someone who understood the weight of knowing too much. I realized then that being alone doesn't always mean being lonely. Sometimes, it means standing at the edge of transformation, waiting for the moment when an unexpected knock changes everything. That night taught me a lesson I will carry forever. Life doesn't always announce its turning points. Sometimes, they arrive quietly, disguised as strangers at the door, asking only to be let in. And when they do, nothing is ever the same again.